Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, part of ICBA's efforts to celebrate World Youth Skills Day. My name is Rima. I'm curator of the Emirates Soy Museum at ICBA, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. Our theme, Growing Green Futures, Skills, Science, and Sustainability for the Next Generation, reflects ICBA's commitment to empowering youth as catalysts for innovation and resilience in the face of climate change. ICBA is a global research center and innovation center headquartered in Dubai that develops nature-based solutions for agriculture in marginal environments, areas facing challenges such as salinity, water scarcity, and climate stress. Through science, technology, and strong partnerships, we work to enhance food, water, and environmental security for communities most vulnerable to climate change. In today's webinar, we'll be exploring how climate-smart agriculture, research innovations, and nature-based solutions are helping address some of the world's most pressing challenges like water scarcity, salinity, and food security. At the core of ICBA's strategy is a strong focus on youth empowerment. We believe that young people hold the creativity, energy, and vision needed to shape a more sustainable future. Now, what makes today's session especially meaningful is that it is shaped by the voices and curiosity of young professionals who represent the spirit of our theme. In fact, our discussion will be featuring questions developed entirely by ICBA's own interns, a diverse and dynamic group of students and early career professionals. We're also very honored to be joined by two of ICBA's leading scientists whose work is advancing climate-smart agriculture and sustainable water solutions. So we have with us Dr. Hinda Mahmoudi, who is a plant physiologist with over 15 years of international research experience in crop resilience, plant-soil interactions, and sustainable agriculture. Dr. Hinda has led several global projects and published extensively in scientific journals. We also have Dr. Khalid Hasaballah, who is a water resources scientist, specialist, with more than 20 years of expertise in water management, irrigation systems, and climate adaptation. Dr. Khalid's work focuses on addressing water scarcity and promoting efficient water use in agriculture. So let us begin on a journey through the soil, water, and seeds of innovation, a conversation that brings together science, stories, and skills to grow a greener, more resilient tomorrow. Starting with our panel discussion, we will start with the first topic, which is adapting to climate pressure in arid regions. Now, to begin, we'll look at the broader challenges that shape food production in arid and saline environments, where ICBA does most of its work. Water scarcity, rising temperatures, and soil degradation are certainly redefining how agriculture functions in these settings. So we'll start off with our first question coming from Dua. Over to you, Dua.
Yes, thank you for the warm introduction. I'm Dua Arbawi, a biotechnology student at the University of Sharjah, currently interning at ICBA under the supervision of Dr. Hinda. So with the UAE and other regions facing increasing water stress and soil salinity, how are these challenges shaping ICBA's research agenda? And from your perspective in plant science and water management, what trends should young researchers like myself, especially after seeing ICBA's work up close, should be paying close attention to?
Thank you very much, Dua, for this important question. But before answering your question, allow me to thank Rima for giving us this opportunity to be part of this important webinar and to engage with young generation. So coming back to your question about the water scarcity is indeed one of the most pressing challenges we are facing today. And as the water resources specialist, I have seen that how it's redefined the priorities of different countries and regions in terms of water allocation priorities, in terms of like adoption of crops. But let me begin before that to make it clear for the audience, let me start with mentioning some few facts about the water availability globally. So less than 1% of the Earth's water is accessible fresh water. We know that like almost about 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, but only 2.5 to 2.7% of the available water is fresh water, and only 1% out of this 2.5 to 2.7% of fresh water is accessible water in terms of available water in rivers, lakes, and reservoirs. In addition, agriculture also uses approximately 70% of the global freshwater withdrawal globally. And I know that in some countries, especially in the MENA region, most of the countries, agriculture approximately use more than 80% of the freshwater withdrawal. Global water demand is expected to exceed the supply by 40% in 2030, and that is the year has been set to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And here we are more focusing on the goal number 6 about safe drinking water and sanitation for all. And in addition to that, also salinity is one of the major problem in this region. And right now, 20 to 25% of the world agricultural land is affected by salinity and expected to reach maybe 50% by 2050. And more than 1.6 billion people lack access to safe management of, especially for drinking water. And this is also expected to increase by 2030 and also 2050. Also, water stress affects more than 2 million people worldwide currently, and this number is also expected to increase considering the rapid increase of world population. Therefore, having all these challenges, water scarcity is no longer just like an environmental issue, but it's also a critical constraint for all the development related to agriculture, related to hydropower and other sectors. So this water stress has shifted the priority of different countries for developing new innovation of how to maximize the use of available water, on how to minimize the loss of water by developing new innovation of how to more efficiently use the water resources in agriculture and also in other sectors. So back to the question about how water stress and soil salinity are shaping ICBA's research agenda. So this is also one great important question because here at ICBA, water stress and soil salinity are not just like a constraint. We are just looking for them as a drivers for innovation, as hot areas for research and challenges that need to address these kind of challenges, and we are together trying to find some solution for water scarcity and also for salinity. And not only ICBA, this is also a contribution to the Sustainable Development Agenda. All the people in the water sector and agricultural sector as well trying to achieve by 2030. Some of the adaptation measures, I think, in terms of adaptation measures related to water management, I will leave the adaptation measures related to crop and agriculture to my colleague Dr. Hinda, but I will more focus on, I will mention few adaptation measures from the water management perspective. One of them is the use of smart water management solutions to increase water productivity, soil reclamation and monitoring. So it's very important to work on improving the health of soil. Climate resilience and adaptation is also one of the topics we need to focus on, considering the climate change that increases the extremes in terms of floods and drought. So I think I will leave it here and will give the opportunity and the floor to my colleague Hinda to elaborate more on the adaptation measures and the issues related to agriculture. Back to you, Hinda.
Thank you, Dr. Khaled. Let me join you to thank Rima for the nice introduction. It's really a pleasure today to have a young generation with us, and they're leading the discussion. Thank you, Dua. It's indeed an excellent question, and as mentioned by my colleague, the water scarcity and soil salinity are central challenges shaping ICBA research agenda. And we do focus on developing climate resilient, soil tolerant crops, improving the water use efficiency that my colleague already described, and we explore alternative water resources as well. So from a plant science perspective, I will focus on your question, what trend should young researchers be paying close attention? For my point of view, researchers should pay close attention to trends like breeding for abiotic stress tolerance, harnessing plant microorganism interaction for soil health, which is really a topic that it can help and support the increasing the fertility of the soil using digital tools, in which is the future for precision agriculture and developing climate smart farming system. In overall, it's an integrating multidisciplinary approaches that combine genomics, remote sensing, sustainable agronomy. All this will be a key to addressing the complex challenges of the future, and you are the lead of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hinda. Thank you, Dr. Khalid, for sharing your very insightful perspectives. We'll now move on to our next topic. We'll continue on the topic of water, but we would like to focus on water innovation. So we want to talk a bit more about water solutions for dry lands. As you clearly mentioned, water, as we know, is a critical resource, especially in dry lands where agriculture competes with other sectors for limited supply. So we'll now look at how smart technologies and new behaviors can make agriculture more water efficient. Over to you, Samia.
Thank you, Rima. My name is Samia Mahmoud. I am from Morocco, and I am an engineering student specializing in industrial management. And my question is for Dr. Khalid. From your experience, what are some of the most promising innovations in smart irrigation or remote sensing that could actually help transform water use in agriculture?
Thank you very much, Sami, for the great question. So from my own experience, I see several promising innovation in smart irrigation and remote sensing that is already transforming water use in agriculture and hold even greater potential moving toward improving water use efficiency. So one of the promising innovation is the use of sensor-based precision irrigation. So nowadays, people shift from traditional irrigation, such as furrow irrigation, flood irrigation, to more precise irrigation, such as drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. People also nowadays focus more on the use of soil moistures, IoT, the Internet of Things, including soil moisture measurements, which provide real-time information and feedback about the soil moisture at the crop root zone. So this system reduces the water waste and also prevent over-irrigation and under-irrigation, and these are some of the issues facing a practitioner in the irrigation field on how to provide precise irrigation for crops according to the crop requirements. Another promising innovation is the use of remote sensing and irrigation scheduling. I think we have also mentioned this in the previous question, but nowadays the focus is more about how to use the remote sensing data to fill the gap of data observation. And we know that data sharing is one of the critical issues, and also there is a lot of gaps in data measurements because field measurement is really costing, and some areas are not really accessible. So the use of remote sensing data and application really improve our understanding on how to improve the irrigation scheduling by using satellite images. One of the example, maybe in the previous years, irrigation practitioner used to use Landsat 8, but nowadays we have even more high resolution satellite images like Sentinel-2 and other satellite imagery. Also, remote sensing help to measure the evapotranspiration using algorithm like CBAL or WABOR, and then also crop water stress, growth stage, and biomass. By analyzing the remote sensing images, we can be able to provide information about the biomass, and hence we can be able to predict the productivity, and also to be able to measure the water stress on crops, and then to take decision whether we need to irrigate a certain crop or not. Another also field of application, from the remote sensing, we can be able also to calculate the NDVIs and the thermal images through the analysis of remote sensing data. Another innovation in the field of irrigation is the use of IoT, the Internet of Things, which enable smart irrigation systems. And I think I have mentioned example of how we can use soil moisture sensors to and also weather sensors to provide information in real time to support decision makers and irrigation practitioner whether to take decision whether to irrigate or not. One also technique modern innovation in irrigation practices. Nowadays, people, they start using what is so-called variable rate irrigation, which is a technology allow the irrigation practitioner to divide the irrigation field into zones according to the level of salinity, according to the topography, because we know that like agricultural field might not be flat. We might have some variation in elevation, variation in the soil salinity, variation in the soil texture. So this kind of new innovation will allow practitioner to irrigate the different part of the field according to the actual requirement, and hence will allow us to save more water, considering the water stress and the water scarcity in the region. Another emerging maybe technologies is the use of AI, the artificial intelligence and the machine learning in irrigation advisory. We have seen this people now are using AI in different sectors, but also in irrigation sectors. It's one of the emerging sciences and growing very fast on how to use machine learning and AI to optimize irrigation and to provide real-time information to support practitioner on how to efficiently use the water resources. Another innovation is the use of non-conventional water resources, because we have, in the limit of fresh water, we need also to find another alternative of water resources by desalination of salt water, and also use conventional like treated wastewater and this kind of resources. And maybe another final innovation is the use of digital twins to decision support tools, where we can use like tools that connect different models and sensors together and provide real-time decision support system that allow practitioner to enhance more the use of water resources in irrigation. So I think that is all from my side, and thank you again for the great question.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Reem Khalid, and I'm a student in the Sharjah University, and I'm majoring in biotechnology. My following question is directed to both scientists, Dr. Hinda and Mr. Khalid. So my question is, even with the advancement of the technology, adoption of these green practices, it can be slow. So how can the youth play a role in encouraging farmers and communities to embrace more efficient water saving practices and efficient irrigation also? Thank you.
Thank you, Reem. Thank you for this important question. Thanks, Dr. Khaled, for this overview of technology. And when we talk about all this technology, we are talking about the smart agriculture for the future. And smart agriculture needs smart generation, and the youth are the future and the smart generation. And at ICBA here, we do believe that the young people can play a vital role as connector between the innovation and the communities. It is nice to have the innovation, the new technologies, but how to connect it with the communities and how they can use it. So they can help raise awareness by translating scientific knowledge into practical advices, using social media, local network to promote success stories and supporting farmers in adopting new technology. I mean, being here with us today in this webinar, it's part of what you are already doing. So it's part of how your role is in encouraging the communities to adopt this technology in an efficient way. And through the education, training, entrepreneurship, the youth can act as champion for water-saving practices, helping to build trust and show the real benefit of this solution and bring to livelihood and sustainability. I mean, your role is major, and at ICBA, we do believe on that. Our management believe a lot in young people, and that you can make this connection and you can support. And we are providing this platform for internship, for learning, to learn and to use what you learned in a way to connect between this innovation and the community. I believe my colleague, Dr. Khaled, can emphasize more on this point. Dr. Khaled, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hinda. I think you have mentioned it all, but I would just like to add like few things related to how the youth can also support the adaptation, because indeed what we are doing in terms of science will not have impact on the communities unless we find a way on how these kind of technologies and knowledge be adopted by local communities. So I think youth, they can play a major role because they can bring fresh ideas. They are digital fluency. They have a lot of and more energy than the old generation. I believe that we are not the old generation. I think we are still from like in some generation in the middle.
The connector.
But anyway, I think they have like more power, more energy than us, so they can play an essential role in connecting our generation, or maybe connecting the science with practice. So I think one of the issues they can develop maybe low-cost technologies, so they can support technologies like solar power drip system, mobile irrigation application, this kind of applications, because they are good in digital fluency. So they can provide such kind of application that can support farmers and people on the ground to have more awareness about what we are doing, and then also promoting maybe behaviors change, so they can engage easily with communities through social media, as mentioned by my colleague Dr. Hinda. And I think one of the issues also maybe like youth can also support in documenting and scaling up indigenous knowledge and indigenous practice by the local communities, because what we are doing in terms of science might not be really applicable in some of the areas. So we need to also consider the indigenous knowledge from the communities, so that we can learn from this one and enhance what we are doing in terms of science. So I think that is what I can say. And back to you, Rima.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khalid. Thank you everyone for raising these very, very important points indeed. Now, moving from water, let's focus a little bit more on soil. So our next topic will be greening agriculture and restoring saline soils. It is estimated that salinity affects over 20% of irrigated lands worldwide, which of course threatens both food security and farmer livelihoods. However, with the right crops and soil practices, we know that degraded lands can be brought back into production. I believe Kushi will take over with the next question.
Thank you, Ms. Rima. My name is Khushi Baswattat. I'm a biotechnology student from Manipal Institute of Technology, India, currently interning at ICBA under Dr. Henda. My question is to Dr. Henda. Dr. Henda, we've read about ICBA's work on salt-tolerant crops like quinoa and salicornia. How can these crops help restore degraded soils and improve productivity in saline environments?
Thank you, Dikushi. Thank you. It was a really pleasure supervising you during your internship. And thank you for raising this important question about the crop that ICBA is focusing on, crop like quinoa, salicornia, and many other salt-tolerant crops. Indeed, not only those two, such the millets, the sorghum, the barley, and all these crops, they have enormous potential in saline and arid areas. Because why? Because they can grow where traditional crops fail, where the common crops fail. Opening up new agriculture frontiers, so they can grow where nothing else can grow. So these crops can create income opportunities in food, feed, and even biofuel industry. So to convince investor and funder, it's essential to present solid evidence, first of all, through pilot projects, and this is what we are doing at ICBA, business model, and we do work on that, and success stories as well, to show that these crops are not just sustainable, but also commercially viable, scalable, and aligned with future food security needs. What I mean by that? I can take the example of quinoa that we work a lot on it, and many other crops. So those crops, they have a very high tolerance to salinity. Not only high tolerance, but they are nutritious and they have minerals that none of other crops have it. So you can grow them with saline water in saline land, and you can use them, and they are multi-purpose crops. So I will take the example of salicornia, for example. It can be used for food. It is as salads, etc. It can be used for feeding animals, and it can be as well used the seed for biofuel. And other crops like millet, the sorghum, the barley, they're multi-purpose crops, and they're very high salt tolerant. And all these crops, they have the ability, since they are salt tolerant, some of them like salicone, they love salt. Not only they tolerate salt. So they can accumulate the salt in their shoots. So when growing them on degraded soil or saline soil, they already remove part of the soil. And there is many other crops that are usually specifically for degraded soil to extract the salt from the soil. I will give briefly the example of the crops. There is two strategies for the crops. One strategy is to avoid the salinity. They are the inclusive one. They keep the salt in their shoots, so they accumulate the salt in their shoots, and the excluded one who eject the salt on the leaves. So when you use those crops, when they extract the soil, they are already cleaning the soil from the salt and the heavy metals. And they are not wrong. They can be used to extract mineral out of them, to use them for, as I said, for feeding. Some of them, like the quinoa, salicornia, millet, they are used for the human consumption. And this will help to improve the productivity in the saline environment, where the farmers are facing a lot of issue in growing the common crops like the vegetable, etc. And so they can grow while they have this issue of salinity. And many studies has been done at ICBA, and we are focusing even not only at growing them and testing them, but as well we have a full breeding program to get the benefit from the different accession and to get crops that they have high yielding, they are tolerant, and they have a better nutritional portfolio. Thank you. I hope I replied to your question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hindab. You replied very, very clearly, actually. Next question, I believe, would come from Dua.
Yes, so to continue that line of thought, Dr. Khalid, from a water and soil system perspective, how do regenerative agriculture and efficient water management work together to rehabilitate degraded land? As someone who's been studying these topics at the university and now seeing their real world impact through my internship, I'm particularly interested in that.
Thank you, Dua, for this question. And let me start by saying that soil health is a foundation for water efficiency and vice versa. What do I mean by that? So without efficient management of soil, we cannot reach efficient use of water resources. So both of them has to be treated together, not separately. So like regenerative practice like cover cropping, composting, and reduce tillage, soil and water irrigation practices increases soil organic matters, which enhance water infiltration and storage capacity of the soil, improve the soil structure and porosity, reducing the runoff, which is one of the losses we are trying to minimize always in the field of irrigation. So healthy soil act like a sponge, holding more water for crops especially during the dry season. So we need to work more on how to enhance the soil health and how to increase the organic matters in the soil so that we can enhance the infiltration capacity and the holding capacity of the soil. Another issue also, efficient water management also reduce soil stress and stress on soil in such a way that if we practice an efficient irrigation, then we prevent excess runoff that causes soil erosion. So if you do like efficient irrigation, then you also, in another way, you also prevent the soil from degradation. So both practice should be treated together, not separately. So like in conclusion, I can say that soil management and efficient water management are not like a separate practice, not a separate solution. So it has to be an integrated practice for an integrated system of soil and water management in irrigation and also in agriculture. Thank you, and back to you, Rima.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khaled. And thank you for highlighting all of this. Of course, coming from the Emirates Soil Museum, I cannot help but stress the importance of preserving our precious soils. Now, we've talked about innovations and technology over the past few questions, but let us go back to this topic, very, very important topic. So the next topic will be technology and the future of sustainable farming. As we know, digital agriculture is rapidly evolving, and that's what you've highlighted so far. But are these tools accessible and scalable in the regions that need them the most? Over to you, Khushi.
Thank you, Ms. Rima. As we know, technology has taken over the world and is reshaping the world. Dr. Henda, I wonder how tools like remote sensing, AI, or big data are being used at ICBA or in your partner countries to make agriculture more sustainable. And what barriers are still holding back the wider adoption?
Thank you again, Khushi, and for highlighting this exciting topic. And my colleague, Dr. Khaled, already highlighted several usage of the technology, the remote sensing, the big data, the artificial intelligence. They can help at all level of the agriculture production. And as mentioned by my colleague, there is no one unit. They are all connected. Water connected to soil, connected to crop. So and this is the beauty of ICBA, where we do work as a team from soil, water, crop, and climate change, and all disciplines. We do work together because we are all connected and we are supporting each other. So this technology can really help to make agriculture greener by improving decision-making, optimizing the resources use, as mentioned by my colleague, for the water, the monitoring the environmental impact, and our colleague from the climate change department, they are working on that, increasing efficiency at every stage, not only at growing stage. So from sowing till getting the product, the final product, to the shelves in the market. So from the seed to the market. So scaling the green agriculture worldwide is possible, but it required addressing challenges like access to the technology, and not all farmer or grower, they have the access to the technology. There is the knowledge gap. There is the investment barrier as well. Not every farmer producer can afford the sensors that mentioned by my colleagues, or using the big data, the artificial intelligence. So, and as well the policy support. All this, it needs collaboration between government, researcher, and private sector, of course, with the farmer and the grower. Nowadays, we're not talking anymore about normal farmer. Of course, in some countries still we have the smallholder farmer, but in general, like country like UAE and other country, we're talking about producer, agriculture producer. The collaboration between all these entities will help, will be a key to overcome all these challenges. Now, being to your question about how it is being used by ICBA. At ICBA, we are international center. As I mentioned, we have all disciplines. We have specialists on all this technology. and we do work in collaboration together. The water scientists, the soil scientists, the crop scientists, the breeder, the climate change scientists, all of us, we are working together, and we do use technology. We test the technology, such remote sensing systems. We use the artificial intelligence for developing several applications for water management, for hopefully for soil as well. We are monitoring with sensor our field, our experiment. We have real-time monitoring, and we are gathering the data that it is used to analyze the data later and to give the best solution, best package of solution to our partner in the country. Our partner are the farmer with the ministries of agriculture in the different country where ICBA is working, which is more than 46 countries now. So this is how we do work, and we do use all kind of technology for early detection of any issue and for finding solution to the partner. But still, as I mentioned, it's not the access to this technology. It's not for all sort of country, and this is one of the challenges. There is the knowledge gap, and as well the investment barrier, and this is a really important to mention. But technology is there. It is used at different level. We developed a lot of tools at ICBA that can be used and can be accessed by the partner country, the partner in the different country at UAE as well, and any one who needs the technology, we are providing it, and this is our role and our aim as an international center for research development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Heda. Over to you, Zahira, for the next question.
First of all, I need to thank everyone. I'm Zahira, an industrial management student coming from Morocco and doing my internship at ICBA. I've been always interested in environmental issues, sustainability, agriculture, and water management, knowing that it is the key to guarantee the life, the prosperity for everyone. Maybe now I should ask Mr. Khalid, what are the most promising innovations in water modeling and smart technologies for sustainable agriculture that young researchers should be aware of to enhance water use efficiency in the field?
Thank you very much, Zahira, for this question. But allow me first to mention why do we need to use modeling in water resources and also in agriculture. So we know that field experiment is highly costly and timely consuming. So that is why we also try to use and develop models that can mimic the reality. So in terms of models, there is like 100 of available models developed by different practitioners, different scientists for different purposes. And I will try just to mention like few of them. I think I have already mentioned some of the technologies related to smart irrigation, but now let me just focus on mentioning few example of water resources modeling and why we need them in the field of water resources management. So one of the innovation and in the field of water resources modeling, the what is so-called integrated water and crop modeling, such as aqua crop. And this kind of models simulate crop productivity in response to water availability, water stress. So you can develop different scenarios and test how different crops affected by water stress and salinity. Another type of models like the SWOT, the Soil and Water Tool Assessment, which integrate land use, climate management practices, and issues related to water resources at the watershed scale. So this is not at the farm level, but mainly on the like large scale at the water shed management. So this kind of model also allow us to simulate how the climate change will impact the future agriculture. So you can also develop like different scenarios from different climate models to show how the predicted change in climate will affect also the future of agriculture. Another type of models is what is so-called decision support system tools that allow the decision makers and planners on how to efficiently allocate the water resources for different uses, including the irrigation. This kind of models, I can provide like few examples, like WEAP model, water evaluation and planning, which also supports scenario development and planning for decision makers. Another model called RIBASIM, River Basin Simulation Model, which also support the water allocation at a large scale, because we know that water resources do not recognize boundaries. Most of the rivers and water resources in the MENA region are transboundary rivers like Euphrates and Tigris and many other rivers that are transboundary in terms of behavior. So there is a lot of kind of models and tools that people, they use them according to the different purposes and according to the needs. So models are really very important in terms of reducing the cost compared to the field experiment. But I'm not saying that we shall not do like field experiment. We need field experiment to provide observation data to our models. We need field observation also to calibrate and validate our models. So I can mention more, but I think due to time limitation, let me just stop here and back to you, Rima.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khaled. Thank you. Now, from research to the markets, let's focus a little bit more on the business case for salt-tolerant crops. Of course, innovative crops are only part of the solution, and turning them into viable business opportunities will be the next step. We'll now look at how research translates into market impact. Over to you, Rima.
Yes, so with the UAE facing growing challenges from salinity and water scarcity, it is very inspiring to see ICBA working on practical solutions. So my question is for Dr. Hinda. As an expert in the plant science, could you share how ICBA transitions these climate resilient plants from research trials to being market ready, and once they are produced in the market, what does it take to build confidence among investors and the funders to support these value chains in the market? And thank you.
Thank you, Rim. Thank you for this important question. And as I mentioned it earlier, at ICBA, we do believe that research is only meaningful when it reaches farmers, business, and policymaker. It's not only having the crop and that's it. No, it needs to reach the farmer and to the business and to be in the market. So beyond scientific research, ICBA works closely with local partners, as I mentioned, in different countries where we introduce the salt-tolerant crops and the new crops. How we work by developing and promoting these salt-tolerant crops. We provide the agronomic packages, including the water management of these crops and the agricultural management. We build the capacity and we support the value chain development through all actors. So we focus on all actors of the value chain, and by conducting as well market studies, we have colleague expert on that, and we engage with the farmer for food processor and entrepreneur to demonstrate the economic potential of this crop, because those crops are not only salt tolerant and can survive in an environment when no other crops can survive, but they have economic potential. As I mentioned earlier, they have nutritional value and they can be used for different purposes, as food, as feed, as biofuel, as oil. They can be used for cosmetic. They can be used at several parts. And then it helps to make them more competitive and appealing in the local and regional market. How we do it and how we work, and we do have very successful stories, either in UAE or in Central Asia, in different countries in Central Asia, in the North Africa, in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Egypt, where we worked on the entire value chain after introducing some crops like the quinoa and many other salicornia and other salt-tolerant crops. We worked further with the local entities and with the farmer on the value chain. So from the seed to the shells, from sowing, how we select the soil, and we have expert on that, how we schedule the irrigation, and how we manage the crop during the growing season, then the harvesting, the post-harvesting activities, and how to convert it in a product that can be sold. And this is to show and highlight the economic potential of those crops. So how to make food out of these crops, out of these salt-tolerant crops that we are growing, and that they have even higher economic value than other crops. I will give the example again of, for example, of the quinoa. It is known worldwide and it is expensive one. Why it's expensive? Because it's not grown everywhere. But if the farmer are engaged and they will produce the price as well, it will be moderated, and it will be really a source of income. And such crops, they are nutritious and they can be used for a specific food for their high content in iron and other minerals. And some, we know that we have the malnutrition. They are nutritious, and then it's quantity and quality both. It's not only quantity, it's quality as well. So they can be used for the iron deficiency, for the anemia, for some of the populations. As well, it can be used for some people that they suffer from the gluten problem. So they are multi-purpose, and highlighting, showing the importance of this crop. It can demonstrate economic potential, and it can help at different levels to be engaged by the farmer. Thank you.
Hinda, thank you so much for sharing all of this. Very, very insightful. Now, of course, today's event is all about youth skills, and we cannot close this discussion without taking the time to speak a bit about youth skills. So to wrap up this very insightful conversation, we wanted to talk a bit about the skills and pathways for youth in greening agriculture. So across low and middle income countries, we know that youth make up a significant share of agri-food for a workforce, which of course makes it essential to equip them with the skills and tools to drive sustainable change. I believe we have a couple of questions before we wrap up around this topic. So Zahira, over to you.
Thank you, Rima. My question will be addressed to both scientists, Dr. Hinda and Dr. Khalid. So what skills and mindsets should young professionals develop to thrive in sustainable agriculture in water innovation? And how can youth from non-agriculture backgrounds like technology or policy still play a meaningful role? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zahira. I think this is a big question, but I will try to just be very brief, considering the time limitation. So in addition to the skills we have mentioned before related to the water modeling, smart irrigation technologies, young scientists and practitioners, I think they also need to equip themselves by some of the skills related to maybe system thinking. So it's very important to understand the relation between soil, water, crops, climate change, and also how people interact with all these variables. You also have to have the ability to identify the root causes of all the environmental issues. You have to equip yourself by or you have to work on the data literacy and the digital fluency as well. So you have to have some skills for different tools like GIS and remote sensing application, Internet of Things, machine learning, artificial intelligence, skills in programming language like Python and R, because nowadays most of the modelings and technology used to be based on programming language like Python and R. You have also to have the adaptability and learning skills. So you have to have the ability to learn and share information with others and stay open for sharing information and knowledge with other people and also to learn from others. So in terms of mindset, just ask questions, explore innovation and challenge like traditional approaches and try to always think of innovative approaches. Regarding the second part of the question, how non-agricultural use can contribute, I think non-agricultural use can contribute in many ways, including the development of smart tools. You don't need to have like the agricultural background to develop a mobile application tool. So you can be from IT or from any field of experience. And then you can also contribute to policy development. You can contribute to business and finance by developing models that support the small-scale farmers on how to maybe market their crops. So there is many ways like young people and scientists can support the field of agriculture and also the water management. So whenever skills that you have, just try to apply it creatively, because your unique skills is really your power. So that is what I can say in this one. And maybe my colleague, Dr. Hinda, can add more on this.
Thank you, Khaled and Zahira. Thank you, Zahira, for this excellent and timely question. I will not add many more, but in few words, young professional aiming to thrive in sustainable agriculture and water irrigation should develop a mix of technology mentioned by my colleague, mixture of skills like the data analysis, the climate smart practices, system thinking, and the soft skills, both like the communication, the teamwork, and the adaptability. So it is importantly that the youth from the non-agriculture background in the field like the technology, the finance, the policy, they have a crucial role to play by bringing new ideas, tools, approaches, as mentioned by my colleague, that can accelerate innovation and make agriculture system more sustainable and inclusive. So your role is really major. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hinda. Thank you, Dr. Khaled. We'll now very briefly open the floor to you, our audience. So if you have any questions to our speakers, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box. We'll take a couple of them as we're running out of time. So I believe there is one question already from Tanvir Abbas, which is addressed to Dr. Khaled. And the question is, what is the role of vermicompost in mitigating salinity? Or, of course, Dr. Hinda, if you have any intervention.
Again, the question, Rima?
Yeah, I'm going to ask the question again. What is the role of vermicompost in mitigating salinity, if any? Can we use vermicompost as a tool to mitigate salinity?
Look, vermicompost is, if I might reply to the question, Dr. Khaled, or if you want to do. I mean,
Yes, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Just briefly, for the vermicompost is a kind of soil amendment that help improve the physical and chemical properties of the soil, and by increasing the water holding capacity of the soil. So it means for the salinity, we do try to minimize the use of the water, and also it depends of the water, of the soil texture, what kind of soil we are using. But they are usually use it for the soil, like the sandy soil, to improve their water holding capacity, or for the clay soil to make them more light soil. So they are used as soil amendment. And they can support the minimization of the irrigation and to keep more the nutrient in the rhizosphere. I mean, this is for my point of view. Maybe Dr. Khaled has more to add on that.
Thank you, Dr. Hinda. I think you have mentioned it all. Maybe just to add, maybe any like innovation or like technology that support improving the soil texture and that enhance the water infiltration in the soil will improve reducing the salinity in the soil, because because like compacted soil will not allow like infiltration of water in the soil. So if you have like a rainfall, then compacted soil will eliminate like infiltration of the soil and then reducing the leaching practice in the soil. So whatever practice or innovation that support enhancing the texture and the infiltration rate of the soil will support like enhancing or reducing the salinity in the soil. So I think that is what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Just adding to that, I believe that there is like an indirect relationship here between the vermicompost and the soil, whereby like the vermicompost can really improve to enhance the cation exchange capacity, and that's going to pretty much retain some essential nutrients that will reduce basically the uptake of those harmful salts, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, I am not a soil expert here, just my 2-cent contribution. Any other questions, maybe from our interns or any of the attendees?
Yes, I do have one question about for Dr. Hinda, because I believe, if I did not hear wrong, she mentioned something about the use of micro organisms in improving the soil fertility. So that is something that I'm very interested in, because in my major we mostly work with these topics with micro organisms, and how can we use them to help to improve human life. So can you elaborate on that or explain further on this topic?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Reem, for the really smart question. And you mentioned something that it is really important, which is the hidden community in the soil. You know, one spoon of soil, it has millions of life, microorganisms, and all these microorganisms, it's like a factory. They are helping, supporting at different levels the plant to tolerate some of the deficiencies, or to be more tolerant for such different stress. The interaction with the plant is really helpful for the benefit of the plant. Of course, they benefit from the plant, and they benefit the plant. They give support to the plant. And exploring this, it's a huge. I will invite you and all our young innovator here and our intern to look at ICBA website. We have a sort of e-learning courses that you can take. We can get a certificate from this e-learning, and you can learn a lot. It is not only for this microorganism interaction, there is as well for the soil, water, and there is different e-learning courses that you can benefit from. And for the sake of the time, I can discuss further with you all these topic about the interaction between the microorganism and the plant.
Thank you, Dr. Hinda. I think you just answered the question that we just got in the chat about how like different courses and trainings. So I do encourage
great.
everyone to visit our e-learning platform. Thank you again. Unfortunately, we will have to wrap up this very insightful conversation for the sake of time. So big thank you to our brilliant interns for those thoughtful and forward-thinking questions. Thank you to Dr. Hinda for sharing such insightful, and Dr. Khalid, of course, for sharing such insightful perspectives. And as we come to the end of this inspiring session, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on what we've heard today. So from the power of salt-tolerant crops to the promise of smart, water-smart technologies, from restoring degraded lands to transforming research into real economic opportunity, today's conversation has really reminded us that the future of agriculture will not be built by chance, but by choice. And that choice belongs to you, the next generation of scientists, entrepreneurs, and policy shapers, and of course, change makers. Whether you come from agriculture, technology, or a completely different field, your ideas, your efforts, and your voices are vital to building a greener, more sustainable, and more inclusive future. Now, on behalf of all of us at the International Center for Biosaline Agriculture, I'd like to thank our two outstanding speakers, Dr. Hinda Mahmoudi and Dr. Khalid Hasaballah, for their time, wisdom, and dedication to mentoring the next generation. And also a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Tarifa Al-Zaabi, ICBA's Director General, for her visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to empowering youth as drivers of climate resilience and innovation. Finally, thank you to all our interns and attendees for your enthusiasm, for your thoughtful questions, and your belief in growing green futures. At ICBA, we believe in cultivating not just plants, but potential. So let us keep asking questions, forming partnerships, and turning ideas into action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma.